Hello everyone, and welcome to the unboxing and review of the Ask the Witch Tarot deck. This deck is super cool, and it called to me immediately when I saw it at the store. It's by Francesca Matteoni and Simone Pace. You have this really beautiful box, Experience Timeless Wisdom from a Magical Coven of Tarot Witches. I love that. This really called to me. Even though the artwork, I was like, why is the Empress crying? But there was something about it that I was like, yes. So let's get started. So you got Ask the Witch, opens up in this magnetic flap right here, and you get into the book. Also, instead of like the loose cards, a lot of times when a packaging is like this, you get the cards in here. You actually get this tuck box with it. So I think that's pretty cool. So if you choose to maybe toss this box, because it might be a little bit too big or something for your shelf, you still can protect your deck with this tuck box. So I love that. All right, let's get into the book real quick. It's actually a pretty good book. I gotta say, it's a proper book. Not exactly hardcover, but you have this beautiful, it's pretty, honestly, I gotta say, a little luxury cover, to be honest with you. Then you have the table of contents. You get into it, you have the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I actually like this because it explains, because this deck is definitely based on the Rider-Waite-Smith. Then you have the history and the stories of tarot cards, which I think that's really cool. Especially if this perhaps is your very first tarot deck, or maybe one of your firsts, right? And the witches in the tarot cards, how to use this deck. So this deck, especially the major arcana, is very based on goddesses and witches from history. And we're gonna go through them a little bit in the book here, as you'll see, and then we go into the major arcana. So for example, Crazy Jane is the Fool. And it says, next door to the home of the Irish poet and magician William Butler Yeats lived an elderly woman who was a bit mad. So you get a bit of a history of who Crazy Jane was. And she was a witch, or at least perceived as one. And then we get a little bit of a history of who Crazy Jane is. And you have a full page color of the tarot of the card of the Fool. Then you have the witch's spells, which is positive and negative, which is upright, and this one is reversed. And it goes the same for example, the magician is the goddess or slash Greek witch Circe. And you have a bit of her history as well. And then positive, which is upright, and negative, which is if the card comes up reversed. And you get that for all of them. So here's Ceridwen. I never know how to pronounce her name. I'm terrible with that. Sarasvati, for example, is the Hierophant, which I actually love, and I think that's totally appropriate. Titania, I've never heard of her, so I actually, this intrigues me because I would love to learn more. Hulda, also never heard of her, but I love learning about new things. Joan of Arc, also perceived as a witch, especially for the Strength card. I love that she's a Strength card. You have the positive attributes, and then the negative, which is the reversal. Let's jump ahead into the minor arcana. So you kind of get the same amount of love. Well, kind of, right? Because you don't have a full page depiction. You just get a smaller color depiction. Then you have a paragraph of the Ace of Wands, for example. Now, getting, for example, into the Two of Wands. So the major arcana, you get a name of the witch. For the minors, you don't get a name. There isn't a specific witch for the card. It just says, a miniature world floats in the palms of the witch of the Two of Wands. And it goes for the same thing. For example, the Four of Wands. Surrounded by the lushness of spring, two witches wave with bouquets of flowers from a stairway that leads to the city. So you're getting just the archetype of the witch. When in the minor arcana, you're not getting like a specific witch with a name, right? But you get the witch, which is actually really cool. And then you have, again, your upright and in reverse, or positive and negative is what they call it here. Towards the end of the book, let's see here, you get reading and interpreting the tarot cards. So becoming comfortable with the cards, creating your own space, which I love this because you never know whose decks are going to be somebody's first or one of the firsts, and they may not get access to this information in other books. depending on their budget, right? You never know a witch's budget. So I like that it's on here as well. Then you get into the spreads too. You have the card of the day, you have a 3-card spread. You also have the witch's harvest, which is right here, how you set it up on the other side. And then you have the witch's messages. So every card has a paragraph of a quote, right? So Circe, for example, says, magic is an illusion for skeptics and cosmic unity for seekers. Sharpen your tool and your potential. Become one with your dreams and then let them scatter. I love that. And you get one for every card. Yes, including the minor arcana. Now, I don't know why it's in a separate section. It was cool if it was all here, right? There's definitely enough space for a quote. But I like that it's here as well. I do. I just love that they added some extra love in here. Then you have a little bit about the artist and the author. All right, so that's your book. A pretty good book, honestly. I like that. So let's get into the cards. Let's open up our beautiful tuck box. And I believe these cards are a little bit bigger. So this is the back, a little bit glossy, but not too crazy glossy. Let me see my classic Rider-Waite-Smith. I think these are a little bit bigger, which I personally like bigger decks. I do. Yes, so you get a bit of a 1/4 of an inch, it looks like, on the top and the bottom, so a little bit bigger. Okay, now I am going to show you guys all of the cards, okay? So if you don't want to see all of them, you can skip around or you can skip ahead, skip this part altogether. It's entirely up to you. Now, I am going to show you in the order that they came in. I did not work with this deck yet. I just opened it. I mean, all I did was take the plastic out of the main box that it came in. So it is in the order that it came in the deck. Okay, so here we go with the Ace of Cups. We're starting out with the 2 of Cups. This is actually very interesting with the owl with the bleeding eyes. I've never seen that before. A little bit maybe dramatic, but also very, very interesting. You get your 4 of Cups. Usually in the 5 of Cups, you see like 2 cups still standing, but here all the cups are fallen. Interesting. The 6 of Cups, the 7. It's very close to the Rider-Waite-Smith. But as far as I can tell, it's a very feminine, heavy deck, which I love. I'm all here for. It's one of the reasons why I got it. But it reminds me a little bit, not the art, but because it's all feminine energy, it reminds me, here's the page, got it. It reminds me of the Modern Witch Tarot a little bit. Oh, how cool is that? She's on a whale. Wow, I actually love that. I love that. And then you have your King of Cups, getting into the Ace of Pentacles. You know, I know out there like the Everyday Witch Tarot, and I think there's another one too that I can't remember. The Spellcaster's Tarot or something. They're very like witch heavy. But for some reason, I mean, I love the artwork and I love those decks. I've seen them. I see them all over Instagram. I see them on YouTube. But for some reason, I was never called to purchase them myself. But this one, kind of like a witches themed deck, this one really called to me. So I love that. I do have the Modern Witch one as well, but they don't look like traditional witches. And I'm using that word because they got like the pointy hats, right? And they have the flowy robes. So there is that like classic traditional look of the witch, although this one is not traditional at all, right? But it's got that like classic, almost Hollywood expected look of the witch. I'm okay with that. Like, I like that. It's cute. It's archetypal. It's, you know, classic, I guess would be the word. I don't know. Here we got the 5 of Swords, the 6, Seven of Swords is pretty classic. So is the 8. And it looks like there's almost a color to each of them. So it looks like the pentacles are this beautiful pink. I actually just noticed that. So the pentacles have this pink. Looks like the cups have this kind of like bluish purple, although not all of them. This one is more of a tan. But here's the Page of Cups. So it kind of looks like this bluish thing. And then the swords seem to have a lot of yellow on it. I actually like that. I like when decks separate them by color for some reason. It's kind of like you can see it immediately when you're doing a reading that, you know. And then you have the Ace of Wands in this beautiful greenish teal color. Five of Wands, Six of Wands, Victory, the 7, 8, very classic, 8 of Wands, 9 of Wands, and the 10. We get into the Page, the Knight. I love that they're riding animals. I mean, they're always riding horses, which is an animal, obviously. But they're riding like different animals. That's kind of cool. I like that. We got the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. Ooh, she is on fire. That's really cool. And then we get into the major arcana. So we got the Fool, which is what? Crazy Jane, you think? Ooh, this is cool. Look at her tiger. High Priestess. We have the Empress, which is our cover art. The Emperor. I have to get closer because she's like right here. Interesting Emperor, kind of in ruins. I wonder why. I'm actually intrigued. I'm gonna read the book and see what it says, but I'm very intrigued by this deck. It's just very interesting and different. Very expressive as well. There's a lot of expression and movement and color in these cards. I got the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune. We're getting into Justice, Hangman, and finally Death. Now, did I miss something? Death, Hangman, Justice, Wheel of Fortune. So it looks like we're actually missing a few cards. High Priestess, Lovers. Okay, let me actually try to get them in order. The major arcana, I'm gonna try to get them in order. So we ended with Death, number 13, Hangman 12, Justice is 11, the Wheel of Fortune is 10, Hermit is 9. Strength is number 8, the Chariot is number 7, Lovers is 6, the Hierophant is up here, number 5. Number 4 is the Emperor, number 3 is the Empress, number 2 is the High Priestess, number 1 is the Magician, number 0 is the Fool. We are missing, so after Death, there is Temperance, it's Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Moon, the Star, the Moon, the Sun. Did I miss them? No, we started out with the Ace of Cups. So, it's not okay, I am an idiot. They're in the box and I didn't, okay. That's embarrassing. So, we're not missing anything. So sorry guys, we're not missing anything. I just didn't pull out all the cards and I thought I did, but they were in the box. Okay, we're not missing anything. So sorry about that. So we ended with Death right here. No, wait, where's Death? Okay, see, we're missing cards. Now the tarot is playing with me. So we ended with Death. Here we've got Temperance. We've got the Devil. And the book is supposed to be, she's supposed to be Lilith. So that's really cool. She's like a dark goddess. I love that. The Tower, which I believe I read in the book. It's Oya, which I love working with Orishas. We've got the star. I love this star. It's beautiful. We've got the moon, which is supposed to be Hecate. The sun, which I believe is Sekhmet in Egypt. Judgment, I don't know. And we have the world. Okay, so we do have a complete deck here. That was just my fault. Pay attention. So here at the back, it's kind of like a cool labyrinth. Although, I will say personally, this is only my personal opinion, but it's almost like the backs don't really match the front. It's like a bit of like a difference. Although this is not a deal breaker for me. I don't really, I mean, of course a beautiful back is beautiful and nice to look at, but it's not a deal breaker for me. You know, the backs are the backs. I'm more interested in what the art looks like. So the card is pretty flexible, but it's not a bad cardstock. I actually kind of like it. And I like flexible decks too because I'm a riffle shuffler, so it makes it a whole lot easier. Okay, everybody, so I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing and review of the Ask the Witch tarot deck. A very interesting, very feminine female power tarot deck. Super cool and interesting that I'm super interested in diving deeper in this deck. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.